My name is Virag Kushwaha. I'm an interventional cardiologist from Prince of Wales Hospital in Sydney, Australia. So valve-in-valve TAVR presents a series of challenges where we've got a very defined anatomical plane from the pre-existing bioprosthetic valve. There's a risk of coronary obstruction, which we need to mitigate, as well as looking to optimise hemodynamics within a confined frame. It generally leads to smaller anatomies with smaller bioprosthetic valves being implanted. So there are multiple challenges in trying to deal with this and optimise results for patients having valve-in-valve procedures. So the Navitor platform is a recapturable and repositionable valve. It's got very large stent cells through which you can access coronaries. It's also an intra-annular bovine pericardium valve, so it allows you to plan for future procedures as well, staying within an intra-annular segment within the pre-existing bioprosthetic frame. These challenges, or these aspects of the valve, also coupled with the excellent hemodynamics we've seen in the native valve platforms, provide it very well suited to a valve-in-valve TAVI. So the Vantage trial had two components. Essentially had a main arm which was focusing on low and intermediate risk patients, and then there was a separate sub-study looking at valve-in-valve cohort which comprised 82 patients. And this was conducted in 40 centres around Europe, Australia and Israel. And what we found with the 30-day endpoints, we're looking at basically safety and efficacy endpoints. The cohort that we had were relatively highly comorbid cohort. More than 50% of the patients that we looked at were in New York Heart Association class 3 or 4 heart failure. The average age was 77. And the patients in this group had failed bioprostheses which were a combination of both stenosis, regurgitation and combined degeneration. Most of the valves were stented prosthesis as opposed to the stentless prosthesis. And what we found was that the Navitor platform performed very well. Procedural success was obtained in about 97% of patients, with the only failures related to valve migration, requiring implantation of a second prosthesis. There were very low risks of stroke. There was one case of valve thrombosis which was completely resolved with commencement of anticoagulation. And the hemodynamic results, both immediately post-implant and at 30 days, were excellent, with an effective orifice area of 1.4 centimetres squared and mean gradient of around 12.9 millimetres per mercury on average. Now, considering that the majority of the valves, the surgical valves, were 25 millimetres and below, and the bulk of valves implanted were either 23 or 25 millimetre Navitor platforms, those hemodynamics are excellent for an intra-annular platform. Certainly all the indices for safety are there. It's a very usable valve which allows precise positioning within the pre-existing bioprostheses. So it's a valve which you can use across a whole range of failed surgical bioprostheses. It gives you excellent hemodynamic responses at 30 days, which we expect to see sustained, and we'll be very interested to see what happens in the long-term follow-up of this platform. So I think Navitor certainly shines in patients where you're looking for an intra-annular platform that gives you excellent hemodynamics, certainly early on. It also, the large cell design of the Navitor allows really good access to the coronary arteries, and so I think that, coupled with the repositionable and recapturable nature of the valve, I think makes it an excellent option for valve-in-valve TAVI for failed surgical bioprostheses.